Episode 2, The Gear Show. What gear is in Mike Murphy's toolkit? You are listening to episode number 2 of Mike Murphy Unplugged. Learn, create, move forward. I am your host, Mike Murphy, a one-man band and technology junkie who loves to help people figure things out. I am really excited to be here with you today. The goal of Mike Murphy Unplugged podcast is to help you learn what you need to know in order to create online content so you can move forward in business and in life. Be sure to subscribe to the show on iTunes or in your favorite podcast app so that you never miss a future episode. And if you like the show, please leave me a rating and review in iTunes, as it would really help me out and I would appreciate it very much. So let's get into the show. Today's podcast, we're jumping right into the good stuff. Today is the gear show, my favorite topic. What is in my studio toolkit and what gear do you need to start creating online content? I'm going to answer both of these questions today. So I thought it'd be most helpful for me to list the essential gear needed for a one-man band setup, or if you're just starting out with a home studio and you want to produce online video content or even launching a podcast. I will also share with you my go-to places for where I purchase gear. Yes, there are still a few places left in the world besides Amazon. And in future episodes, I'm going to deep dive into the equipment. But today we're going to kind of scratch the surface. And by the end of this episode, you should have a really clear understanding of the gear that you need to make tutorials, vlogs, YouTube videos, screencasts, webinars, online courses, and podcasts. And for a more comprehensive list, head on over to mikemurphy.co/resources. I have everything listed there that I use or recommend, and there's even links that go directly to Amazon if you want to purchase some gear. So I've broken the gear into 3 main categories: cameras, lighting, and audio. And here's a little disclaimer: don't feel like you need to go out and buy everything that I'm mentioning in this podcast. Take it slow. Start experimenting with the content you're creating and make sure that you like what you're doing before you go out and buy everything. A lot of creatives, and they really like to shop for the gear and toys, but my advice is don't buy everything at once. Make the content first, find out what you like, then go buy the gear as you need it. Okay, so let's get into the goods. Camera and lenses. My go-to, my big DSLR camera, my main thing that I use for video and travel and everything else is a Canon T5i DSLR camera. Awesome little camera, touchscreen, high definition 1080p. Love this camera. But everybody knows it's not really the camera that makes the difference. It's the lenses, or the glass as they call it. And my lens of choice is the Canon 24-105 L series lens. This is my only real pro big time lens. You know, it has that famous Canon red ring around the lens that pretty much tells everybody you're the real deal. I'm just kidding, but it's kind of the Swiss Army knife for DIY video shooters because it's so versatile. My next go-to lens is the replacement to the Nifty 50, and that's the Canon EF 50 f1.8 STM lens. For about $100, you get a really incredible lens. Gives you that really nice shallow depth of field with the foregrounds in focus and the backgrounds nice silky smooth out of focus. Makes everybody look like a pro photographer. Love this lens, the 50mm 1.8. And finally, I use a 10-18mm. It's a wide angle lens that Canon put out this year. It's a low budget lens for the crop sensor cameras. Awesome lens for travel, landscapes, 10-18mm wide angle. For making tutorials, screencasts, webinars, Skype and Google Hangout stuff, look no further than the Logitech C920 webcam. This shoots high definition 1080p. I know what you're thinking. Logitech makes crappy products, and I agree with you for the most part, but this webcam is amazing quality and cheap. You can get it for like $50 to $100 on Amazon, and it is truly an awesome camera that I use kind of on a daily basis. And for the fun stuff, behind the scenes, time lapses, everything else like that, my go-to cameras are the GoPro Hero 4 and my trusty iPhone 6. I don't leave anywhere without these 2 cameras. Okay, so that's the camera and lenses. Let's move on to the next phase. That's lighting. If you are just setting up a home studio, doing any kind of video, whether it's vlogging or Periscope or YouTube videos, just know that lighting really matters. Lighting deserves its own podcast here, but I'm going to just give you a little rundown on the basics. Light is light, but you really want to make sure that the light you're using for your videos is bright enough and soft. You want it to look natural. You want to get rid of those harsh shadows. You don't have to do the crazy setups that you see in fancy studios, but you do need to be conscious of it, and you do need to keep your lights pleasing to you. One tip that I have for you, if you are building up a light kit, try to get the lights that are similar or the same is really ideal. You want all the lights to have the same type of lights so your color doesn't get all messed up. So, number one tip for the most affordable and best lighting options out there, China balls. Those are those little paper lanterns that you see at IKEA for like $10. I love these China balls. I paid $30 from a film supply house called filmtools.com. This light is incredibly bright. It's soft. I now actually use the China ball for most of my tutorials when I'm sitting behind the computer. $30, awesome light source. For my kind of bigger lights, my main lights, I use LED lights. I highly recommend using LEDs just because they're small, they're portable, they run off batteries, and they don't get hot. I live in Florida, so having lights that stay cool are pretty important to me. Only drawback with LED lights is they don't get super bright unless you kind of spend money. The good lights are a little more expensive that put out the bright lights, but LED lights are really great lights. Do your homework before buying LED lights. If you buy the cheap ones, they often put out like a green color cast. So just do what I do. Call B&H, tell them what your budget is, tell them what you're shooting, and they'll put you in the right directions. They put me onto a brand called ICAN, IKAN, and another one is Generay, Genaray. These are great LED lights, both affordable, both high quality. Thank you, B&H, for those recommendations. So, moving on to the last piece of the puzzle, number 3, audio. I'm saving the best for last because I am obsessed with all things audio. I could talk about microphones and music all day. I do have several episodes coming up where I'm going to really talk about setting up your home or audio and for podcasting. But today I'm going to show you what I use for my everyday kit. First tip, number 1, never, ever, ever use the built-in microphones on your computer or your camera. Repeat that. Do not use the built-in microphones for your computer or your camera if you're making any kind of online content. The sound quality is terrible and it will ruin your content. So just know that. You need to buy a microphone, period. If you're going to produce any kind of content, you need a microphone. 3 types of microphones you need to start getting familiar with. Number 1, a USB microphone. This plugs directly into your computer via a USB cable. Go figure. Number 2, a microphone with an XLR connector. This plugs into what's called an audio interface. The audio interface acts as a bridge between the microphone and your computer. Number 3, a lavalier or a lapel mic. These are the mics that clip onto your shirt. They're kind of hide the microphone, but they're nice because they allow you to kind of walk around and they give you some freedom of movement. When starting out, I recommend the USB microphone. My favorite is the Blue Yeti USB microphone. Incredible quality microphone. Blue makes really high-end quality microphones, and these are about $100. The second USB microphone that the entire internet uses and recommends is the Audio-Technica ATR 2100. I do not personally own one, nor have I ever used one, but I swear it's probably the most widely recommended microphone that I hear for the low budget to like $50, and people swear by this. I'm sticking with the Blue Yeti, but if you want even lower price than the Blue Yeti, go down to the ATR 2100. My best microphone that I use, and it's kind of a step up, is the Shure SM7B dynamic microphone. That's what I'm using for this podcast. I use it for all my tutorials. Very popular in the broadcasting world and in music studios, and it's notorious for being on Michael Jackson's Thriller album. Little pricey, coming in at around $300, but an incredible microphone. And the lavalier or lapel mic I use and recommend, when you need to hide the mic or you want some freedom or you want to plug it into your iPhone, use the Rode SmartLav Plus. It's like $75 and Rode makes really awesome products. Okay, accessories for audio that I need to mention because it's an important part of the kit. You need a good set of studio headphones. I use Sony, the MDR 7506, very popular. Again, all these links are in the show notes or on the resource guide. And the other piece of audio accessory that you need is a portable recorder. You don't need it, but this is the best way to get audio off of your camera. If you're recording with like a DSLR camera, you really need to pull the audio off that and make it better quality. And the way you do that is with a portable recorder. The ones I use are Zoom. I use the Zoom H6. I also recommend the Zoom H4n. And the Zoom H4n is $100, and everybody uses one of these devices. Great product. Quick recap. Quality video and photos, I use a Canon T5i DSLR camera, 24-105, 50mm, and a 10-18mm wide-angle lens. For screencasts, tutorials, webinars, Skype, I use the Logitech C920 webcam. For everything else, the GoPro Hero 4 and the iPhone 6. For lighting, I use a China ball with a fluorescent lamp inside that I bought from filmtools.com. And for LED lights, I like the iCan or Generate LED lights that I bought from B&H Photo. Audio, the microphone I recommend and use is the Blue Yeti USB microphone and the Shure SM7B, as well as the Rode SmartLav Plus lavalier mic. My audio interface, just so you know, is a Scarlett Focusrite 6i6. Awesome interface. And the recorder I use is the Zoom H6 or Zoom H4n. And get a good pair of headphones. I wouldn't recommend using the Apple Buds. I'd use something a little more quality. And the Sony MDR 7506. Very popular, very good. So, I hope you enjoyed learning what's in my audio and video kit. I'd love to hear what your favorite pieces of gear are. And at a very minimum, if you want to start your brand out right and make some simple videos and screencasts, you don't need a lot of equipment to get started. I mean, gear is fun, it's expensive, so do your homework, ask people, ask pros, ask people that use the equipment. I'm happy to help. If you just want to try something out, there's some great rental houses out there. Lens Pro to Go is a great place if you want to rent some camera gear just to try it out. I purchased most of my gear at B&H Photo and Amazon. And for audio gear, I really recommend Sweetwater.com or ZenPro Audio. But Sweetwater, best customer service. I'm telling you, these guys are amazing. So, I hope your head's not spinning from all this gear talk. Don't worry, I have everything linked here in the show notes and on my blog at mikemurphy.co. Full list. Ask Mike Anything starts very soon, so leave me a question over on the blog, and you might be featured on a future episode. And if you want to learn more, if you want to find your voice and learn the tools of the trade, please join my band. Simply sign up for the newsletter to get started. I'll send you a private invite to the Facebook community to get started, where we can all help each other and get support and help each other grow and learn. And if you like this podcast, please leave a rating and review. And I really hope you subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss a future episode. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you join my one-man band, and together we can learn, create,